Hello, everybody from Central Park in New York. I've been spending the past few days here opening the program of ours at NYC, a master's program, the 2025 edition. Our very first students in that program have arrived this week, but also meeting with colleagues and with peers here in New York, trying to assess the state of politics and economics in the U.S. About a month into the Trump administration. And there's a very clear message coming from parts of the business community and the tech world that this administration is bringing in a new impetus and a new era for growth, unburdening the business ecosystem in the U.S. from the constraints that the ESG, DI policies could bring to it, sort of unleashing the American free enterprise spirit. So there's a lot of optimism in some of the business spaces and in business leaders in America. But still, major questions remain. One, I think, is the resilience of American institutions and democracy, the function of the presidency, the way President Trump interprets the powers of the American presidency are building up to a very clear constitutional crisis about the separation of powers, the role of the judiciary, the function of the states and the division of functions between the state and the federal government. All of these issues are coming up. Many of them are being judicialized. Others are now being very active part of the public and political debate in the U.S. So that is a huge question that brings uncertainty and turbulence into the domestic life of the U.S. and also throws questions into the performance and the future growth and competitiveness of America as an entity, you know. And then the other big question mark over this optimism in this agenda is, of course, the international policies implemented by Trump. Most markedly, the tariff war, which most businesses see as fundamental headwinds, but ones that could be navigated. And that is also part of the discussion, but also the attitude of the administration towards the multilateral system, its allies in Europe, Canada and Mexico and in other places, as a source of turbulence, a source of change that might in fact impact and reduce America's influence in the world rather than enhance it. So there's this thrust of optimism, particularly in the business space, tempered by these two other issues. And all of this seen clearly here through the lens of the collision and the competition with China. So it's becoming very clear that one should read this administration and its policies through a China lens. How does this enhance their position in a very zero-sum mentality vis-a-vis China? So I think that's true of the Panama claims, the Greenland claims. It's true about the tariffs. It's true about the burden sharing with Europeans in Europe, so that forces can be concentrated in other parts of the world. So this idea of competition and the Trump administration betting very big on its innovation, its corporate world, and its ability to be effective and competitiveness in that environment is there with these other questions. So fascinating times for the US. These elections have had very significant consequences, and we're living through an adjustment. This is not just a change in administration, it's really a change almost in regime, in ethos for America. So fascinating times over here. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Bye-bye.